Hi everyone, I am Christy here with Quilt Verve. So I thought I would do a quick little video showing you how I line my points. I've got my pattern that I'm doing for my newest release. It's called Live Free and it is a ton of half square triangles. So you can see you've got all these little teeny tiny points, and how do I get them lined up? I have a way that I like to do it if you're like nervous at all. So this is what I do when I'm feeling like I really want to get those points as perfect as I possibly can. Okay, so I have a block that I'm working on from my pattern, Live Free, and it is mostly, actually it's strips and half square triangles. So you can see as I'm sewing these together, trying to line up these points really well, it can be kind of tricky. So if I am nervous or unsure, this is what I do. So first of all, I'm just gonna make sure I got my pieces going in the right direction. And get that out of the way so we can see a little bit better. So right now, I'm going to just start lining up my points using my pins. So I see right here, I've got my sew line here, and right there, that is where they intersect. So I am going to start by actually poking my pin through, and I actually check the other side. I don't know how other people do it, to be honest, but really that's where that's the point that you want to line up. So that's where I aim to get my pin, is right at that point. So then from there, I know that it needs to line up here. I am then going to take my pin and I'm going to line it up exactly where I want it and push through onto the other side. And then that is how I align my points. Some people don't like to pin. I never be above pinning. I don't think there's anything wrong with pinning. So I'm going to line up. If I'm really nervous, I will literally do every single seam. So even this one, if I'm nervous about trying to get these seam lines to match up perfectly, I'll pin that. But I don't do those quite as often. But sometimes there's just some really important lines that you just don't want to mess up. And when you're pulling the strips, sometimes we pull and we stretch in the half square triangles. They just, because they end up getting cut on the bias, there is just so much stretch and give there. So if you're nervous, I say pin, never be above pinning. So same thing, I'm just matching my pin right to that intersection point so I can see, and then just angling it at just so that I can get it exactly where I want it to be sewn. And then finding where I want it on the side. And then I will align and pin that way. And then if I'm nervous about any stretching or anything, I'll pin towards the end. All right, so we are getting to sewing, and you might think, oh, okay, it's totally fine. We don't need to. I get it. So sew where you pin. The tricky part, at least that I think is worth calling out, is as you get here, you're going to want to sew where your first point is. So it's really important. So watch your foot, not your needle. And then I am actually, again, I am aiming for where I put the pin in. So that very first point right here, that is where I want it to be sewn, because that's the point that I pinned together as my starting point. And I get as close as I stinking can to the needle before I pull it, and then I'll pull and keep going. And then I'm trying to aim for that. Pull out the pin. Okay, so I just pressed all my seams. So it's this guy right here, and I'll take a look and see how well I did. So you can see I got some pretty decently good points. And that is how I like to align any points or any seams that I am concerned about. I just go through and I really try to match everything up using my pins and then sewing right over those pin points. So hope this helps. Again, Christina from Quilt Verve. Like, subscribe, do all the things, and hope to see you there.